What's going on, Detroit Lions fans? The Detroit Lions have officially put out their 53-man roster that's going to take us to the Super Bowl. I'm a firm believer in that. I'm going to talk some membership stuff at the end of the episode. If you guys want to stick around, I don't want to do it in the beginning. I'll explain why. Final roster put out today. Kind of weird. 50-man roster. All right. The NFL allows for a 53-man roster. We are currently only sitting at 50. I'll get into some speculation, some stuff I think that's going to happen, talk about a few surprises today. Sit back, hit that like button, hammer the subscribe button for me. Greatly appreciated. You guys have been doing a phenomenal job. Truly thank you. A little late today. I'm trying to clear up some terminology on some stuff that I'm not 1000% familiar with. So I know yesterday's video, I made a little slip up about some terminology with Dan Skipper that was not something new to me, but something that I forgot to mention. And trust me, people definitely were there to remind me. So I don't do this for a living. This is not my full-time job. I work a 75-hour week job, come home, I got family stuff. I do this. I love doing it. I'm not complaining, but mistakes happen. All right. I am not a beat writer or anyone who has a list of all the rules behind the screen you guys see. Mistakes happen in football. All right. I apologize for the misspeaking yesterday. I'll also tag that video at the end of this one because I'm not going to talk about every single player cut if you're new here. So I'll tag that one at the end of this episode. You guys can see the stuff on Hendon Hooker, Nate Lynn, Broderick Martin. All that was talked about yesterday. So I might just kind of glance over a couple names, but man, here's our official depth chart as of now. Now, if you want to take the time to count, there's 50 names. We're a little thin in some areas. Okay. We are a little thin. I believe here's the list of people who have been cut. The big one on this list for me, as it sits today, was Keith Cooper Jr. and, Ahmed Hassanin at the top there, waived with an injury settlement. That's the terminology that I was doing some digging on, and I still feel like there's some clouded gray area, but I feel like I've pieced it together. And again, if you guys have more information than me, please leave it in the comments. You know, this is a channel where we can come to learn. If you don't know every single thing, there's always weird stuff popping up in contracts that we have to dive into and try to figure out. But basically, it sounds like to me that it's a normal waiver. If another team picks up Ahmed Hassanin, they take on his contract as a rookie. If he reverts back to the team, the Detroit Lions that drafted him or waived him initially, which is the Detroit Lions, they can place him on the IR or pay him a settlement up to an undisclosed amount of weeks that's, I believe, negotiated. That's where it started to get a little fuzzy for me. So again, I am looking for some information on that, on exactly what that means. So leave it in the comments. But regardless of injury settlement or whatnot, just the fact that we waived him was a little surprising to me. We just drafted him back in April. It hasn't even been 4 months. I feel like we talked about him in training camp, you know, him being a potential project player. Brad Holmes has drafted some project players. He's given them a little time. We just released or waived Broderick Martin and Hendon Hooker. Those were considered project players. Giovanni Manu is considered a project player still on this roster. So I don't know why Ahmed Hassanin didn't get the due diligence of the length of time that the other projects have gotten while he got 4 months and a couple training camp games. I know he's got the pec injury. I don't know. I'm not going to criticize Brad for, you know, potentially seeing something and wanting to move on from it in a late round pick, but it's just a little funny. It just looks a little weird. I don't think there's a single Detroit Lions sports podcaster, YouTuber, or beat writer, anyone who saw this coming. I feel like I'm completely blindsided by this move, but I feel like there's a path. All right. It's a questionable move. It makes you scratch your head a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. And I hope to see him back with the Detroit Lions. I think a couple years of development could do him some good. He showed brief flashes for a kid that played at a smaller college and comes into the Detroit Lions. He's all heart, man. He had a high motor. I really could see that, hey, if he could figure out some technique stuff, he'd be good. Now, we can't teach him to be 6'4" or be a bigger size of a defensive end. He just kind of is what he is. So I don't know. I feel like Brad washed his hands a little early on this one. And again, we could see him potentially return to the Detroit Lions. That door is not closed, but I don't know. I feel like he was a solid player at Boise State. So I would be a little surprised if he clears waivers and ends back up with the Detroit Lions. And there's some other terminology with other teams, how they have to claim him and put him on their 53-man roster or put him on the IR. That kind of stuff was a little fuzzy to me too. So I don't know, but just did not see this move coming. Did not see it coming, guys. Like when I saw it on Twitter, I said, is this a hoax? I had to go to the profile and look at it and make sure that I wasn't being hoaxed because there's some people out there who tweet out some weird stuff just for some attention and clicks. And there's some, burner accounts that tweet out some weird shit. And I've fallen into that trap before. So not again. So I did my homework and I was like, wow, no, we really, really did waive Ahmed Hassanin. So regardless, don't know what's going to happen in the future there. Hope that he ends back up on the Detroit Lions practice squad. But if we're preparing ourselves for the worst case scenario here, we're still going to be okay as the Detroit Lions. All right. Hopefully he lands at a team that treats him well, gives him the time to develop, and maybe we don't have to worry about him in the future wrecking any games. But very, very surprising move there. And again, another one, let me bring the list back up, that I thought was a little surprising that I haven't already talked about was Keith Cooper. Undrafted free agent. Low risk, high reward. Seeing him in practice, having some position versatility, being able to play D tackle, 6'5", 280 pounds, also playing some anchored defensive end. I thought that versatility would be enough to get him to the team. Brad washing his hands again, and this one's no risk. We brought him into training camp as an undrafted free agent, so it's not like we lost a draft pick or wasted anything like that. It was just, hey, come in, show us what you got, audition for the team, and we'll see what happens. But I'm just a little curious, guys. I really want to know. I want to hear your guys' guesses as to why we cut further than 53. And I'm not complaining. I'm not worried. I'm not panicked, but it's just a little weird because when I look at this official depth chart, position by position, the first thing I see is that defensive end room. Aiden Hutchinson, Marcus Davenport, Al-Qadim Muhammad. We're a little thin at defensive end, if you ask me. And I've seen some depth charts that have Pat O'Connor listed as an end. I personally think he's listed appropriately here with the defensive tackles. I also have seen some with Makai Wingo listed as a defensive end. And again, on this list, I think he's listed appropriately as a defensive tackle. So looking at this, I just see that we are a little light at that DN position. And you guys all know that there's a name out there floating around, Za'Darius Smith, and I know people are sick of talking about it. They're sick of hearing about it. They're sick of hearing us talk about it. And trust me, I'm ready to do the show when Za'Darius Smith signs a contract with the Detroit Lions and we can just brush this thing underneath the rug, move on, and get to playing some football because it feels like his name is attached to a lot of free agents, a lot of rumors. But there's some free agents and some rumors floating around that other teams have been in contact with Za'Darius Smith about a contract. Guys, I don't believe in handshake deals. I really don't. I know there's a lot of people out there that think that there's a closed door meeting with Za'Darius and Brad and they have a gentleman's agreement based on words and nothing on paper. I don't believe that shit in the NFL, okay? I believe that Za'Darius Smith is an NFL football player. I think that makes him also a businessman. He's going to be going to whatever team is the best fit for him. Whoever calls and offers the most money, the most amount of years, that's where he's going to go. Now, we've tied him to some stuff here in Detroit with Jackson Meeks, his nephew being on the team for all the training camp. We know about him and Cash Doll, the Detroit rapper. He's got some ties here. I understand. But if another team comes in, I'll just throw out the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know. Maybe the Detroit Lions are offering 1 year, $15 million example. Don't know if that's the dollar amount. And Jacksonville comes in and offers 2 years at $28 million and the guaranteed money is a little higher. He's a businessman. He's going to take the best deal. So if there's not a signed contract, I do not believe or buy into that handshake bullshit. And it's no disrespect. Za'Darius, that's what you should be doing. You're an NFL player. You're not going to be playing this game forever. Don't know how much longer you want to play football. Get your contract wherever you see fit, man. It doesn't have to be with the Detroit Lions as much as I want that to happen. Guys, I'm just tired of hearing about these backdoor deals that we have no proof that anything's going on. Could Za'Darius sign with the Detroit Lions? Yes, maybe he did. Maybe he's a man of his word and he's going to sign it. He's got a day picked out. I saw something on his Instagram last week that he looked like he was on vacation somewhere having a good time. Maybe after that, he's coming back to business. I don't know. But I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in there that I see a lot of people talking about this handshake deal with him and Brad Holmes. And I'm sorry, but the NFL is a business for the teams. it's a business for the players too. So let's keep that in mind. He's going to make the best deal that's fit for him. So a 50-man roster, Za'Darius will make it 51. I'm aware we still have 2 more spots. Looking at this depth chart again, where do I see that we are a little bit light at? Nothing crazy, nothing concerning. I'd like to add one more defensive back. Don't care where. Hopefully it's a guy who could play a little bit more corner and maybe a little safety if we need to. But I like a lot of names on this list at the safety position, potentially Rock Ya-Sin, Avonte Maddox. I know we have Brian Branch and Kirby back there. So I'd like to see one more very versatile secondary player. Also, the interior offensive line, I would like to see get one more player. I know Graham's our center, Mahogany, Ratledge are our guards. And then it's kind of a toss-up. I know Kingsley's been playing that backup center. He's been playing it very well. But to me, I'm just thinking you can probably just never have too many offensive linemen. So that's the official depth chart for now. Obviously, there's going to be some additions. I don't know if that's going to be via trade. I don't know if that's going to be from a player that was cut from another team. But trust me, I am at the edge of my seat trying to figure out or even put together a guess on who it could be. But also, thank God the Trey Hendrickson rumors are gone and dead, and we don't have to listen or talk about that anymore. Man, I know that there were some podcasts who were carrying themselves through the summer talking about Trey Hendrickson and some other trades, because I get it. The summer is a dead time. There's not a lot going on with the Detroit Lions. So no more of those trade videos about Trey Hendrickson are coming. He signed his contract with the Cincinnati Bengals, 1 more year, like an extra $14 million or something. So I'm truly glad that that's dead and over with and we can move on. But while I'm on the topic of a trade, I don't know if something's coming, guys. I don't know if it's big. I don't know if it's medium. I don't know if it's below average, underwhelming. I have no idea, but I feel like something's in the works, and I don't want to speculate just yet. But just looking at this roster, if we sign Za'Darius Smith, there's still 2 more spots. So I don't know what Brad's cooking up. Hey, he's in that kitchen, though. He's getting busy. Thanks for watching. Stick around. Hit that like button. We'll be back later with another show.